Email marketing is one of the best assets you can have. It's still one of the best assets. Once you have a list, you can build your business. Here is an introductory course on how to build your list, an email list, and how to make money using nothing but emails.
Hi, my name's Alex Copeland and I work with Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, and we're bringing you another course, this time on email marketing. Now, email marketing is hands down the most powerful and effective form of online marketing. Nothing comes close, not even search marketing, with all its hype and tried and tested successes. It can't hold a candle to how effective this marketing can be. And it's easy to see why. Now, when they're surveyed, marketing firms always put email marketing near the top of their advertising preferences. And there's some reasons to this. Through email marketing, you can get in front of any of your audience, anytime and anywhere. You could be sat on the beach, you could be sat in an office, you could be sat up in bed, and you can write an email update, plug that into your email service provider and talk to your audience. And also, regardless of where they are in the world, they can see it. This means you can sell more products since you have a relationship with these people. They've voluntarily signed up to your mailing list, and then you're able to keep the conversation going. You don't just get one chance to convert them when they first visit. You get to try again and again. Every time you send an update, you get a chance to convert some more of your audience into buyers through the email. You also get to keep in touch with the needs of your audience. What are they looking for? What problems are they facing? Now, that's probably the reason they joined your mailing list in the first place. They were looking for a solution or an answer that your list can provide them. This means you can use this to get a steady flow of traffic wherever you want it to go. And it may not convert first time, but that's fine too, because the whole idea is you get many chances to turn them into buyers. Now, of course, email isn't the only way to get traffic to things. There's social media marketing, for example. But email beats this because places like Facebook have their own algorithms and their own rules and regulations. And as time goes by, Facebook is getting tighter and tighter with this and sending less and less organic traffic. At the moment, even if you have a huge Facebook fan page with a gigantic following, your page will only reach a tiny fraction of that following, and it's getting worse. With email marketing, you have a higher chance of reaching your contacts. Instead of being at the mercy of these changing social media platform algorithms, you're in control. Now, it really boils down to how well you write your headlines as to how many people do open your emails, and also how targeted your list is in the first place. The thing is, this isn't the same with a typical Facebook fan page. It can be as targeted as you like, but you're still not going to get seen by most of the people that have liked your page. Also, with your own email list, you can download your list's email addresses and move from one email service provider to the next if you need to or want to. You can't do that with social media. Now, you've probably heard the saying that the money is in the list. But the sad reality is that the vast majority of people who work hard on their email marketing have very little to show for it. They spend money every single month on their email service provider only to come up empty-handed. Failure in email marketing comes in many different forms because people try many different things, so it's hard to say what the reason is for each individual. But in this course, we're going to take you through the process of setting up an email list the right way so that you have the best possible chance to make this work for you. Focus on who you wish to market to. If you don't have a clear idea of who your target audience is, then you might as well give up now. Audience identification is crucial when you're building a niche list. You can't just target everybody. You have to drill down to a specific population of people who are trying to solve a fairly narrow set of problems. All the traffic in the world won't add anything to your bank account unless you target a specific niche market and give that audience the solutions they're looking for. But how do you find the right audience? There are many different audiences out there, and targeting one is what you need to do, but it kind of boils down to the commercial value of those people you're targeting. What do I mean by this? Well, there are a lot of problems out there and a lot of communities and audiences that need solutions to these problems. But some of these problems are things that people are just never going to pay top dollar for. People are always going to be looking for the right DVD or a set of headphones, but there's a limit to this budget. There's a ceiling to how much they'll spend. And different problems also have different priorities in your life. You need to find a niche that has enough commercial value and also enough of a priority that they're willing to spend on it. One way to estimate this is to use Google AdWords. You can look at the cost per click that you would pay if you were doing paid advertising when you research the keywords related to your niche. Now, if advertisers are willing to pay a lot of money per click, then there's a good chance it's got good commercial intent. There are a lot of advertisers willing to pay a load of money for keyword traffic. $20 per click is not uncommon. You also need to make sure that you're targeting a niche that's big enough. So the niche you're targeting needs to have commercial intent but also enough demand. Now obviously the ideal sweet spot is a combination of decent commercial value with decent traffic. But you should also pay attention to competition levels. If you pick a niche that's extremely competitive with massive brands taking over the whole of the search results, then you're probably going to have a tough time making any headway. You should also look for a niche that is somewhat competitive though, because anything that isn't competitive at all might well not have any interest. But how exactly do you figure this part out? Well, it's fairly easy actually. You've already got all the keywords you were looking at and you know the cost per click and you know roughly the volume. You take those keywords and you pop them into good old Google. When you hit search, you will see the number of pages that are competing for those keywords. Okay, it's a bit more complicated than that, but for this sort of level, it's fine to just look at the amount of results and take that as your competition. This will give you a good enough idea of how competitive it will be. Now, regardless of whatever niche you go into, whatever audience you decide to follow, chances are very high that your customers are already online. You just need to find them. Now, I don't mean that there's a dedicated website that's just for your particular niche or audience, but they will definitely be out there asking questions on different sites related to your niche. They could be sharing images, photos, or videos related to it as well. Whatever they're doing, they're already exchanging content online, so your job is to find out where they're doing this. Then listen to them. Pay attention to the words and terminology they're using. Pay attention to the solutions that are already out there and they're talking about the most. Understand that these solutions will probably have shortcomings that you can fix for them. Now, if you spend enough time in these places, you should have a clear understanding of who your audience members are and what they're expecting from those solutions. You'll get a fairly clear idea of who your competitors are as well. Now, for a more advanced technique into this, you could create a long list of your competitors and then reverse engineer them. But as long as you know the sort of people you're going after, that's all you really need to know to make a real good go of this. Finding the right email marketing platform. Now this step is crucial. You can have everything else spot on, but if you haven't got the right email marketing platform, nothing's getting delivered. You have to understand that you can't do this type of email marketing manually either. It's just near impossible. Even with a list of only 500 people, sending email updates to those people one by one is going to drive you mad. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to automate all your mail delivery, even from the start, so that as it grows, it doesn't get harder to keep on top of it all. But what are the key common features of good email marketing platforms? Here's a few. Automated autoresponders. Now, regardless of the platform you go with, they must have a way of sending a scheduled email to your list members. For example, if somebody joins your mailing list on a Monday, then they get the email sign-up update straight away. Then one day later, the Tuesday in this case, they get the next email update that you've put into the autoresponder sequence. Now, if another person signs up to your mailing list on the Friday of that week, they get the very same update immediately when they sign up. And then a day later, Saturday in this case, they get the update email, and so on and so on. Now, an autoresponder is crucial if you want to turn your list members into buyers. Broadcasts. Now, sometimes you need to send an update to all of your contacts. You might be holding a sale or something similar to that, or some important news you want to share. You need to be able to reach everybody at the same time, and your mailing platform has to be able to deliver this. Now, regardless of whether you're sending autoresponder messages or you're sending an update message to your list, something else you might want to look at is email templates. Sometimes you just don't have the time or the knowledge on how to compose a decent email. So to make things easier for yourself, you can use a template. This is an email that's been formatted in a certain way, or it might even have some added graphic elements to it. A lot of these platforms have ready-made email list sign-up templates you can use as well. You just make changes to the graphics, the colours and the forms and you're good to go. An advanced tip for improving sign-ups is to use what's called a two-step process. This gets people signing up to your mailing list, and it's a very powerful alternative to the normal way you would do this. Now, normally your email sign-up form would be presented on the page. People would load this, they would put their email in and click the submit button for their freebie or whatever offer you were giving them. Now the problem with this one-step layout is that it doesn't really qualify people. It's just one step that many don't mind going through to get that goodie, to get that freebie, even if they're just curiosity seekers. They enter their email address and you end up with a list squatter. This is a person who stays on your list without even reading your emails, just to get that free gift. Now to solve this problem, you can use the two-step opt-in system. How this works is people have to click on a link to get the form to appear. Now this is where they then enter their email address and their name or whatever else you're asking for, but because of this two-step process, only truly motivated or genuinely interested people tend to fill it in. Now sure, this may result in a slightly lower subscription rate, but the people that do subscribe are going to be of the highest quality. Decide on your list's incentive. Now let's get one thing straight. People don't just sign up to mailing lists because they've got nothing better to do. You have to give them a reason to do it. You have to give them a reason to sign up for your mailing list, and there has to be something in it for them. And this is where incentives, or sometimes called front-end offers or freebies, come in. You're going to give away something for free which adds value to your potential list members' lives. You could look at these like ethical bribes. We're bribing them to join our mailing list. But it's not enough to promise them that you're going to give them great information if they sign up. Anybody can make that claim. You actually have to give them something they can see and appreciate. But what kind of incentive should you offer? Now this varies from niche to niche. It also varies based on the source of traffic that you're using. So you have to play it by ear a little bit, but to help you on the way, here are the top 10 most common. Topic-based email series. This initiative gives the list members answers to common problems within their niche. The value is in the content because they receive your emails, and the people who sign up for this type of mailing expect that you'll be sending them pre-programmed emails that will show them through common problems associated with the niche. You teach them a few things, after which you send them another thing, and then after 5 to 7 or maybe more things. This incentive lets you show off your expertise. Cheat sheets. The cheat sheet is just a simple document. It can be a one-page item, or it can run into several pages. The cheat sheet focuses on one specific topic and breaks it down into steps. Now these are very popular because they highlight easy to overlook information, and people are constantly looking for stripped down versions of things because they just don't have the time to sit through something lengthy. They want to just scan it, and if you give them the right answers as quickly as possible, you're onto a winner. Templates. Giving away templates is very popular because people don't want to mess around with solving problems from scratch. They'd much rather work with an existing template that they can adapt. A complete niche starter kit. You could compile all the solutions to a specific problem and give people access in exchange for their email. Typically this will involve someone signing up to your squeeze page, being redirected to an online resource or a PDF that contains all the content that the reader needs. This content can be given in many different forms. It could be a series of videos or audio files or links to PDFs or even other websites. The value here is the fact that you're compiling all these answers and putting them in one place. It solves the problem the user has without them having to search all over the internet. Step-by-step plans. Oftentimes when people are faced with a problem, they simply don't know where to start, even when they have a fairly general idea of the solution. They don't have a plan to attack the problem in a clear way, and a step-by-step plan enables you to guide the reader to solve the problem effectively. Case studies. These are personal stories or studies of someone doing whatever the list sign-up is interested in. By using these, you're able to connect on a person-to-person basis. You can use these case studies to not only build up your mailing list, but also upsell into whatever service or product your company is promoting. Case studies work in most niches. Latest news and updates. Now, a lot of your new lists may not react to your promotions and only want the freebie. This is the kind of risk you take. But if you use the latest news and updates as the ethical bribe, then you get people signing up to your list that have got a strong chance of actually opening up and reading the mails you send. When people want the latest news, they need to open it to read it. If you run a news website for a very specific niche, then a newsletter is a great way to build up your mailing list. On the other hand, if you're in a niche where news just isn't happening that often, it won't work so well. Webinars. Webinars are video-based seminars. You could upload these onto YouTube, or you could just send the URLs of the videos via email. You could also include a quick cheat sheet or a summary of the information contained in the webinar with each of your emails. Software. The internet is full of free software. It seems that people can't get enough apps or other software products as long as they solve a specific problem. So you can bet that offering free software in exchange for emails will help you build a mailing list fairly quickly. The secret is offering software that relates to your list. The more specific the software is to a problem related to the people interested in your niche, the higher the chance your squeeze page will convert. However, if you're offering some sort of generic software that people can get elsewhere, or software that addresses a big problem that isn't related to your niche, you might have a tougher time. Graphics. People may be interested in downloading free packages of icons, badges, photos, or other graphical materials. This makes for a great incentive for some niches, but it doesn't work all across the board. For example, if you're targeting the weight loss niche, very few people will want a load of pictures of thin people. They know they need to lose weight, they don't need photos of slim people to remind them of the problem. Consultations. If you really want to turbocharge the number of people that join your list and you have some knowledge, then you might want to consider giving out custom consultations. These involve people contacting you directly via Skype and you taking them through a problem. But be warned, you have to tightly define the kind of consultation you have with people, otherwise you might sink into a time black hole. Seriously, there are people that will chat for hours if you let them. You should focus on a very targeted problem so as to minimize the amount of time you spend with each member. Remember, there will be people who only sign up to your mailing list for the freebie. Once this consultation is over, they unsubscribe from your list. So think about this when you think of the amount of time you spend on these particular things. Now, the key takeaway for incentives or freebies is you have to figure out what people are looking for in your niche and try and outdo the stuff that other people are giving away. When people download your freebie, highlight the value of it on the confirmation email or download page. The key here is to prevent people from being surprised by your email updates afterwards as well. You really can't blame people for ignoring emails. Everyone gets so many every day. But done correctly, you can have a fan for life. Creating your list incentives. Now that you've got a clear idea what incentives you can offer for your list, the next step is to come up with incentives that will position your list for success. Now there are two main ways to do this. You can pick one from the list we gave you and run with it, or you can simply do what your competitors are doing. Sign up to see what they're offering and study the materials. Try to figure out where there are strong points and weak points and come up with something better by offering the same strong points but covering the weak ones. But how do you produce that better lead magnet? Here's a couple of ways. You can offer an incentive that's more complete. In other words, when you study your competitor's free gift, you might notice they're holding back on certain pieces of information. They might be offering really basic information, and the thing you deliver truly solves the problem that your customers have. Offer longer content. If someone is offering a free booklet that lists, say, 10 solutions to potential issues, then offer a booklet that offers 20, 30, or even 50 solutions. The key here is to come up with an ethical bribe that's so huge on face value that people can't help but sign up. If you can offer an incentive that is more engaging than most, then you're also onto a winner. Don't fill it full of jargon and complicated phrases that no one will know. Release something that's written at a plain 8th grade English and actually engages people. This sort of thing will blow everybody else away because your stuff is much more accessible. Another way is to offer basically the same sort of gift as your competitor, but package it much better. When people read the same information but it's formatted in a lovely PDF with lots of helpful pictures, everything's written in a well-spaced and well-formatted way, people will get the impression that you have done a better offer, even though you're basically offering the same sort of information. Now, all of these ideas are not telling you to copy your competitors. You just take what they've done and use that as inspiration. The next step is to design a better page to give away that incentive. Again, take a look at your competitors. This will come in handy. But you do need to try and come up with a squeeze page that will blow everybody else out of the water. But how? Well, come up with a better design. Maybe everybody is using the same standard design, and you can come up with something that has different elements in it to get the visitor to engage with the page. Maybe other marketers are just assuming that the people who land on that page are going to sign up. So just come up with a squeeze page that shines a spotlight on different things. Make it more efficient for your offer. You have to remember that the people are always asking, what's in it for me? You have to answer that question loud and clear, and the value that you bring to the table must be compelling enough that people want to leave their email address. Now, the vast majority of list marketers automatically assume that when people sign up for their list, they're going to welcome all of their updates as well. And this is why most list marketers fail. You can't assume this, and there will always be a certain percentage of your visitors that are going to be list squatters. If you're not careful, this percentage can keep growing and growing until they form the majority of your list. You have to make sure you emphasize the value of your updates that you will be sending, and you have to do this right before they sign up on the squeeze page. You should also do this on the confirmation page that they get to, and tell them they're going to be getting very useful updates. Do yourself a massive favor and emphasize the value of the updates to your list, because this is the only reason why we're giving out this freebie in the first place. They're looking to establish a relationship with you, and they want to give you permission to continue talking to them. Another great benefit of email marketing and using thank you pages is it enables you to offer different incentives on each page. When people load your content, you can include an ad, and when they read the ad and see the value, they may then click. You should also try and qualify people based on interests, as different people with different needs will sign up to different lists. This segmented email marketing approach can lead to higher conversion rates. Instead of just dumping everybody who's interested in a wide range of problems into one general mailing list, you use highly filtered lists. Then you can offer laser-targeted solutions to each of these lists and walk away with better conversions. Broadcasts versus autoresponders. The next question you're going to have to tackle is, when will you send out your emails? Now, you have to understand that your squeeze page sets up your list members' expectations. If you do things right at the beginning, then they won't be surprised that you're sending emails to them. They should expect this information. Most people that sign up to a list are expecting to get some sort of automated newsletter from then on. For example, if I sign up for an email list that's promising to teach me how to trade Bitcoin on a weekly basis, I would expect that I would receive a tutorial email with links to instructional videos once a week. Make sure you set up the right expectations, because this will decide how frequent your updates can be. Make sure that your squeeze page and all other promotional material is set up in the right expectations and they're as clear as possible. Of course, you can tweak this based on the behavior of your list, so pay attention to the following as well. Make sure your emails are getting opened, read and acted on. This is the essence of email marketing after all. If you fail to optimize your emails, then your list is dead in the water. And what's the point of getting a lot of people to join your mailing list when they're not going to be reading your emails? If nobody's clicking your links or reading, then your business is practically dead. There's no way you can make money from the list if people are not taking action on the emails you send out. You have to work to maximize the percentage of people opening your emails, reading them and clicking on them. Here's an example of the numbers that will happen when you send out an email, and each of these actions involves fewer and fewer people. For example, you start with 1,000 people on your list and you end up with only 100 people opening your emails. Of those 100 people, only 20 click on the link. So now you need to try to maximize the percentage of people taking action at each step. Maximize the number of people opening your email, and then work to increase the number of people reading that email, and then increase the people clicking in that email. How you do this is actually quite simple. First, you need to be clear what your target niche is for your list, and inform people before they sign up to your list that they'll be receiving email updates. Convince them of the value these email updates will bring for them. A lot of marketers fail to put enough attention on getting the prospective list members excited about the emails they'll be receiving. Make sure there's a tight fit between the incentive you're offering and the needs of your audience members. Whatever incentive you're giving away, it must speak directly to the needs of your audience members. If you send out updates following up after this that have nothing to do with what they signed up for, don't be surprised if you get a lot of unsubscribes. Now, if you're going to use an autoresponder, then make sure the emails being sent out by the system are relevant, or again, your list members will start ignoring your updates and unsubscribing. You must remain focused like a laser on adding value to the lives of your list members. They should immediately see that reading your emails will add something to their lives. Once you have people on your main email list, you need to work quickly to segment them by sending updates that will enable you to separate or filter them based on their reactions and choices. You can also send updates with links to low-cost products, and then you can segment your list into proven buyers and information seekers. We'll talk more about these segmentation things in another video. Optimizing your list by targeting traffic sources. Now, just because you have a lot of people on your list doesn't necessarily mean you make a lot of money. There's quite a few marketers out there with huge email lists that are struggling, and the reason is the mistake of assuming that the more, the merrier. This just isn't true. You need to get the right people on your list, otherwise you're just going to have a lot of freebie seekers, people that don't even bother to read it and unsubscribe, but they'll make your list look larger right up to the point they do. You should learn to optimize your list by using targeted traffic strategies. Start with free traffic sources to optimize your squeeze page. Using these, you should be able to get enough clues as to how to tighten up the gift you're giving away, increase your squeeze page conversion rate, and maximize your email follow-ups. By using free traffic to get this information, you're obviously saving money. But the downside of this is you're going to have to invest a lot more time into it. So really you're still paying, just not in the form of cash. Keep optimizing your squeeze page and updating it until you're confident that you can convert paid traffic at a high enough rate to make sense. Now, I don't suggest you jump in with both feet and start spending hundreds of dollars a day on ads on Facebook or Google AdWords. Instead, use small targeted ad buys to start. Start with just a few dollars and pay attention to your stats to see if people are really converting at a high enough rate to keep it up. Keep tweaking your squeeze pages until your few dollar ad buys convert at a fairly high rate. Once you've done this, start optimizing your email updates to boost your conversions there. This requires a tremendous amount of attention to detail, and you can get lazy about it and just set and forget it, but you will be leaving a lot of money on the table if you do this. You have to pay close attention to your ad campaigns so you can quickly deactivate ones that are not working, while increasing the volume of ones that are. You have to be proactive. You can't just sit back, as this means you'll be wasting money on bad campaigns. Optimizing your squeeze page sign-up rate. This part plays a critical role in the success of your mailing list campaigns, and you need to go through certain steps to ensure your success. Don't miss any detail. Make sure you implement each of the steps, otherwise you will be leaving a lot of money on the table. Direct outreach with your list members. Now, these are the people who've already signed up to your list, and they're in the best position to let you know what you can do to improve your squeeze page. They signed up, so there must be something they like on there. Now is the best time to reach out directly and ask for suggestions. Pick their brains regarding the things that you did right and any areas they think can be improved. Now you have to set your ego aside and ask for suggestions. There is always room for improvement. You could offer some sort of incentive for the feedback. You have to understand that people have better things to do than to respond to your email. By offering an incentive, you're more likely to get a response. Ask them things like if using a graphic is best or if the text was easy to understand. Ask about the quality of the updates that you're sending out. Don't just jump on the first suggestions you get through though. Look at the total amount of responses and pay attention to the most common themes. If people keep talking about how the picture was annoying but only a handful of people mention your gift, then chances are quite good that if you change the graphic, you'll increase your conversion rate. When you change your squeeze page, you have to pay attention to the most common answers you get. Then you cross-reference these responses with the actual actions people are taking. Remember, actions speak louder than words. When you look at your squeeze page, remember it's actually made up of many different parts. There's the picture, the gift, the text, the font size, the color, the layout. There's lots of different elements. Change just one element at a time, and you should quickly see if there's a variation that gets higher conversions. The improvement might be fairly small, like 1 or 2%, but that's still okay. Run traffic through all these variations and see if you can improve your conversion rate. Keep going through this process of making variations on one element, picking the winner, and then make more variations until no further conversion rate improvement is possible. At this point, move on to another element. It's important to make sure you only change one at a time. Now, we've all seen squeeze pages before. Typically, there's an email field, an action submit button, and there also might be a nice looking graphic on the side. But unfortunately, because these are so common, people usually become blind to them. However, something people do sit up and pay attention to is when they see their friends already like something they're looking at. You can use this psychology of social proof to boost your squeeze page conversions by adding this sort of thing to your squeeze page. As an example, Facebook allows you to include likes on your page by using an embed code on your squeeze page. By showing that people already liked your page, you can use this social proof and give the viewer the push they need to sign up. Identify your list segmentation strategy. By separating your list subscribers into smaller sublists based on specific interests or preferences, you can send them more targeted information, and this can lead to them buying more products. You can also segment people based on their purchasing behavior. Now, you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you keep most of your list members in a big general list. In fact, you can send update after update to this list, and I can almost guarantee that the majority of the people are probably not going to care what you're saying. It would be a better use of your time to get this list of people to filter themselves. But what types of lists are there? Well, the best sort of list is a buyer's list. Once they're on this, you can send them better crafted or more targeted emails to get them to buy more stuff. Specialized email lists. These lists target more specific needs over time, so you can send updates that are really targeted. This increases the likelihood the people on the specialized list will buy something because you're pushing products and services that cater to their particular interest. Another way you can segment is to get people to sign up to a specific list right from the beginning. That way you don't even start with a general list. Instead, when people go to your blog or your website, they see different ads for mailing lists that actually talk about specific issues. They're very different from each other. So when somebody clicks on a particular ad, they sign up for a list that only talks about the issues raised by that very same ad. You could also offer incentives that address only highly defined specific issues. Now this is a slower way of building lists, but it is much more targeted. Another approach you could take involves selling lower dollar items. You start with a general list and you promote low ticket items. When people buy these, they end up on the buyers list we mentioned, and they're automatically unsubscribed from the main list. Given enough time, you should have a fairly nice list of people that are willing to get their wallet out. You then focus most of your time crafting high converting emails that target your buyers list and maximize your return on effort. This saves you a lot of time. You should still send emails to your general lists and focus on value, but also advertise lower ticket items now and again to get them on the buyers list. Now don't panic. People do sign up and after some time they unsubscribe. However, you can reduce your unsubscribe rate by asking people who wish to do so to change the update frequency of the membership instead. Depending on the provider you're using, you can offer list members a choice as to how frequently you will send them updates. Don't neglect this powerful tip because this can save your list. But why should you segment your lists? Well, people find themselves in your mailing list for a wide variety of reasons, and while they share a common interest in your niche, that's probably the only thing they have in common. As a result, they might be at different stages of the conversion process, so they may need more information before they commit to buying a product, for example. Others are already clear on the solution they want, they need a recommendation. You can't send the same message to all these people and expect the same results, and that's where segmentation comes in. You need a separate process where the people can be sent messages that will push them closer to the point of conversion based on where they are. Email marketing is far and away one of the best ways you can make money online. You can send them an email at any time and you can get a significant percentage of your mailing list to see your updates. Email marketing is so powerful because it's based on relationships. Now, by following the steps that we've laid out in this training, you can learn how to recruit a lot of people to your mailing list, speak to their needs and convert them to maximize your income. And the best part is it enables you to earn an income in an automated way. You don't have to actively manage each member as your mailing list software will do that for you. I hope you paid attention to the steps laid out in this training and you will be able to use these and scale them up. Whether you're working towards a few $1,000s more per month or you're looking for 7 figures, email marketing gives you the opportunity you need to earn your desired income. That's the end of our email course. And on behalf of myself, Alex Copeland, Richard Fairburn and the Online Success Model team, I hope you've enjoyed this training and we look forward to bringing you more in the future.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this course, and if you want to learn more, go to johnvianney.com and remember to subscribe to the channel.